Hi guys, welcome to the unboxing and quick review of this Moskee Portable Power Station with 74 watt hours or 2000 milliampere hours with 110 volts with a peak of 150 watts. It has an AC outlet and can be used, of course, for everything. I mean, camping, or like to store power from a solar generator or whatsoever. It is really good for outdoor camping, traveling, emergency cases. Imagine you have a big storm, hurricane, whatsoever, no power for a couple of days or even a week. That's a good thing to store power and have it available for like USB and AC power. I think, as far as I have done my research, it's the cheapest version on Amazon with an AC power supply. So if you really need AC power supply and you want to save some money, that's a good opportunity for you. Of course, it is limited to only 20,000 milliampere hours. So if you need more power, you can buy different brands with more power, but the price goes up really fast. So if you want to buy something with 40,000 milliampere hours, you can usually calculate double price and so on. It gets really pricey where as soon as you have more requirements regarding milliampere hours. So if you want the cheapest one, which is good and reliable, I mean, according to the reviews, then it's probably this one, and that's why I bought this one, and I want to check if this really works for so few money only. So let's take it out of the box and see what we get and how this works. So of course, before we start, let's check on the box. Here we see some description. There's not much more here, but on the back side we have some technical description. Here we have it, hope you can see that. What I haven't seen, so we have two different models here. We have the ATP B80H and we have the ATP B80L. So it looks like here we have the L, and so this is the information for us. I think there's not much difference to the other model, maybe slightly, so we check this here and also here the code. So let's take it out of the box and see what we really get. And it's really the first time I take it out of the box. It's the same surprise as for me. So here you see that we get some kind of instruction, which is definitely a good thing. I mean, it is AC power. It's not something, it's not a toy, not something which you can give to small children to play around. It looks like this side is Chinese and this side is English. So if you want to check that, hope you can see that. I'm not staying too long on these sides. If you don't need that, you can fast forward. Just takes a couple of seconds, but maybe it will be helpful if you want to have more technical information about this product, or if you already have it and you lost your instructions and you need to read that as a reference. So yeah, it's actually just the battery, I mean the power bank, and here we get some additional things. So what we got in this box is a power supply to charge this power bank, and the good thing is it works for 110, hope it will focus. So you can see that 110 to 240 volts, so you can use it worldwide. Of course, you will need an adapter for the plug, but you get also this thing for the car to charge it in your car, that's a really good thing. So in an emergency, if you don't have power, maybe if you have complete power loss in your area and you still have enough gas to run your car, you maybe can charge it in your car. So this is what we get. It is quite heavy. Of course, there's not something small which you take in your bag. I mean, of course, you can take it in your backpack, but not just in your bag, which you carry around the whole day. If you need something like to carry around the whole day to charge your smartphone every couple of hours, you need something smaller and with same capacity, like 20,000 milliampere hours. You can buy definitely cheaper for about maybe $20 or something like that. You don't have to spend $70 or $80 for something like that. But if you need power, like in an emergency situation, real power like AC power, then it only comes with such a device. So we had a hurricane 2 years ago. We were out of power for 1 whole week, and we had only a couple of power banks, which first thing is it didn't have AC power, of course, and they were drained really fast usually, and I haven't been using them. I haven't been able to use them a lot, so that was a really bad thing. And if you want to have something which works in every situation, you need really this. For some equipment you really need just AC power. It doesn't work without AC power. So but we have still USB where you can charge like your phone or these things. We have on off, we have DC input like from something like that, and there are not many buttons here. AC on off, you can turn it on and turn it off, so that's always good to have it off for security reason. And I wonder how we can turn on the light. So we'll definitely read the whole instruction in detail and let you know if there is something special. And I will now charge it fully. I will first try to charge it with a solar panel, which I have bought also to have a perfect combination, to have the solar power independently from any normal power. So if you have power loss for a week or so, I will be able to charge something like that. So I think this is a really good combination to have powerful power bank with AC power and a solar power. That's the minimum thing, but what I think that you need, like if you have situation like when a hurricane comes or you expect a longer power outage. Of course you can buy a full gas power supply for $1,000, but it's a complete different thing. So I think this could at least help in a lot of situations. So I have spent now about a week with this AC power bank, which is the cheapest power bank on Amazon, and now I will let you know how this thing really works, if it really works, what it can do. So it is, I can tell you already, it is definitely not a complete fail, but it is not perfect as well. So what I have found is it was charging. My first thing, we have to charge it, and I was using this AC power charger, and I think it was described to charge in about 4 or 5 hours, and it did the job in exact the time. And this thing didn't get even really hot, even if it had to produce quite some power. So good power supply, you don't have to be worried about that. So second power supply is this, what you get, a car charger, and of course we need something to plug it in. the strange thing, in the description it was told, I mean it was written that you can charge it with your car with 12 volts, but it said like you have to increase the voltage. So yeah, I was not sure if it's really working, but it works pretty well, as I can show you now. So here I have something like a car charger. It's 12 volts. Yeah, as a backup I have also 19 volts if this is not working. So but we first try with the 12 volts which you have on a normal car. Red light, and here you can see it is charging, so you don't have to worry about that. Whatever is written in the instructions, don't worry about that. It will charge in your car without any problems. Then on the other side, we want to know how much or how fast we can charge anything with these USB sockets. So of course we have to turn it on, and we use now the blue one, which is I think supposed to be the strongest. Should be around 2.1 amps. And there's another really important thing to say about these USB sockets. While you are charging this device here with this DC in, you shouldn't use these USB sockets to power something else, especially not with the Quickcharge, definitely not with this one. I heard from the manufacturer that it should be possible to use the USB 1 and USB 3, but definitely not the USB 3. So be careful. Usually the advice is don't charge something from here while this device is being charged itself. But if you are willing to take a little bit of risk, then use at least USB 1 or USB 2. And yeah, most of the devices are really struggling with that. Here you can see it is below. Maybe it has to do with my meter, I don't know, but now it's pretty low. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's close to full charge. I can tell you it was at about 1.6 amps in maximum. So I don't know why it's not happening again. But yeah, you can believe me, I'm not I'm not lying or something like that. It was at 1.6 amps. Now it's definitely below, but happens with a lot of power banks, so I'm not really complaining. And here we try again with the other sockets. Here we get 1.4, even higher, 1.4344, and the third one a little bit lower again. So yeah, it is really strange, but you can see at least there is enough power to charge something like that pretty fast, even when we don't get up to the 2.1 amps. I mean, this is even USB-C, should be capable to transfer definitely 2 amps, but we don't get to this. I don't know why, but happens a lot of time. Don't be worried about, don't expect if any charger tells you it's capable of doing 2 amps, don't expect to happen it right away. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. I think it's no flaw or no real serious thing which you should be worried about. So I've been reading the instructions again, and they clearly say that all the 3 USB sockets should be able to have an output of 2 or 2.1 amps at 5 volts, which I don't see that here. But again, yeah, it's really hard to find a combination of any power banks or whatsoever to get some really high results. I had with this really expensive power bank, I got output of 1.8 amps for a charge to charge something, but apart from that it's super difficult to get to go as high. So yeah, really, again, so I'm not worried about but what we also want to know is how long can we charge, or how many of these devices can we charge, how many iPhones can you charge, how many Samsung Galaxies can you charge. And actually this power bank says it's 20,000 milliamps. We can we can even see this on the packaging. They clearly say 20,000 milliamps, and so we should be able to measure that with this USB power meter. But I have measured this a couple of times and it always ended at about 11,000 milliamps. Yeah, this is a little bit disappointing, of course, but I have to tell you, this happens with a lot of these devices. I mean, also even with this really expensive power bank, this is supposed to be 25,000 milliampere hours, and it also came only to about 11,000 milliampere hours, so not even more. I don't know why this is. I mean, like 5 or at least 10 years ago, it was when you bought power bank with 5,000 milliamps, you could definitely measure that. When you bought one with 10,000 milliamps, you could measure that. But these days, a lot of these power banks come out, they say 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, whatsoever, and you can barely get more than 10,000 milliampere hours out of that. This is super disappointing, but it is as it is. I cannot really only blame this manufacturer, so they are all in the same boat. I don't know why this happened. I've been contacting the manufacturer. They said, yeah, when you use the AC output power, you get about 11,000 milliamps. If you're using USB output, you should get about 70% of the theoretical maximum power, which would be around 14,000. I was not able, maybe after a couple of charging and decharging cycles, would get maybe close to 14,000. Yeah, whatsoever. Okay, I'm not complaining more about that. It is as it is. Again, nothing really which I can tell you, which probably will be much better with other ones. Even if you buy like power banks, like AC power banks, which are supposed to have like 60,000, 100,000, whatsoever, it will be, when you measure it, it will be much lower anyway. So here's the thing, what we want to know on the other side. Yeah, we have the light to test. So the light, I mean, yeah, anyway, here these 4 bars are charging bars. Yeah, I didn't know that at the beginning. These are charging bars. When we are at like steady 4, then it's fully charged. To turn it or to check the charge, we can just push once and see that. That's good. And when we want to turn on the light, we keep pressing for about 3 seconds. And we have this steady light, real strong light. Yeah, we cannot complain. It's a really strong light. It's good. But you cannot change it. I mean, you cannot make it weaker or intermediate or whatsoever. What you can do, you can make it blink. When you push once, it starts blinking in the same rate forever, as far as I have seen. When you push next time, it will go to an SOS. That's pretty comfortable. I mean, pretty convenient if you really need that. If you're out in the woods, you want to get rescued, you can leave this on the whole night in this state with SOS. That's a cool thing. And when you push 3rd time, it will be off. So no long press or something like that to turn it off, just 3 times. First 3 seconds to turn it on, and then 3 times to cycle through all the modes, and with the 3rd time it will be turned off here. So nothing apart from that. and yeah, to use it every time to charge something else, you have to turn it on first here, and it will turn off automatically. So here on the back side we have the most interesting part, the AC charge, I mean the AC power. And I've been struggling to find something. I mean, it's supposed to have 100 watts. The only thing which I have been able to find on the short term, I mean, you really can't use like really heavy power devices like a vacuum cleaner or a hair dryer or whatsoever. I mean, they have much more like they require too much power. You cannot even power a TV, maybe really small TV. You could definitely power probably a laptop for some time, but the only thing which I have been able to grab to show you on the camera is this. That's something, the Works trimmer, yard trimmer, and it has 22 watts. So I hope you have been able to see that 22 watts, and we plug it in here. So nothing happens, of course. We have to turn it on here. We see the power now here, and after some time we see the light here. It first turned green, now it's turned red, which means it is charging. So no problem with that. Seems to really provide at least 110 volts, which is required to charge this thing, so no problem with that. Now you maybe think there is something missing, like an input with USB-C or micro USB to charge, which most of the power banks have. Like this one has a USB-C and it has even a micro USB to charge. So why doesn't have this AC power bank, something like that? I mean, it would be really convenient to have USB input, but it's not possible. I mean, this internally has way too much power. I think it's either 12 volts, 19 volts, whatsoever. It requires way more power to charge it. So from here we get 19 volts, as you can see here, and from here we get, of course, 12 volts from the car. But with this we get only 5 volts, and this is not enough when we have internally a way higher power. I mean, all the batteries connected inside are probably 12 volts or whatsoever. Definitely too much to charge it with 5 volts. But it is not only a thing with this AC power bank, it is a thing which affects all the power banks. I've checked even way more expensive power banks, like such things which cost $100, $200, $300, have more capabilities, have more power inside, and so on. And also they are not, with them it's not possible to charge them with a simple USB charger. It would be nice to charge something with a normal USB charger, like from the one which you use for your phones or whatsoever, but it's simply not possible. You have to use such higher thing. Also, what's really important, they recommend to use, or they say it's possible to use them for solar panels. You have to make sure that when you buy something like that, a solar panel, that you have one which is capable to produce a high power output, like something, especially with this cable. Usually it's 12 or mostly 19 volts, because the cheap solar panels, they just have USB power, output power. This is 5 volts, and also impossible to charge AC power banks. You have to be careful. Usually, of course, these solar panels are a little bit more expensive. The cheaper ones you can buy maybe for $20, $30, but they have only USB output. With the more expensive ones for maybe $60. You get more power and you get this 19 volts output which you can use to charge an AC power bank. So yeah, what's the bottom line with that? I'm pretty happy with that. It has actually everything which it has to have. No major complaints, maybe apart from the capacity, which is way lower than expected. But again, I don't expect this to be much better with other devices. This is not only with this manufacturer, it's a general thing these days. I hope it will change in the future, so when we maybe buy in 5 or 10 years again such devices, we will see in the listing how much power we can really expect out of it, and not only a listing statement which is at the end not worth much more than the paper or the print which is printed on. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I hope I was able to help you a little bit with that. If you have any questions or any comments, please write to the feedback area down below, and I will also put the link to the Amazon to the Amazon listing down into the description as well. So if you're interested into that, that's definitely the cheapest AC power bank available on Amazon. If you're interested into that, get more information, or you can directly order it from the link below into the description. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.